In the vibrant city of Enugu, where the sun's golden rays danced across the emerald hills, lived Ogechi, a strikingly beautiful and intelligent young woman. She was not just a mere woman, she was a real estate agent armed with the ambition of a lioness prowling the savannah. Yet within her heart lay the heavy weight of expectations, particularly from her mother, who viewed the world through the lens of tradition and marriage. After a certain age, my daughter, one should not be wandering the streets like an empty calabash, Mama used to say, her hands expertly folding freshly laundered wrappers. Marriage is our destiny as women, do not forget that. Ogechi often felt as if she were suffocating beneath her mother's aspirations. Yes, she had been in relationships, but each ended in heartache, leaving stinging reminders of a future she had never envisioned for herself, not a life dictated by another's desires. Today was a particularly vibrant occasion, as she dressed for her cousin's traditional wedding, a colorful festival brimming with age-old customs, laughter, and spiritual blessings. There would be music and rhythm, the sweet smell of jollof rice mingling with the aroma of spicy pepper soup. But the thought of potential suitors lingering about, or eyeing her as a prize to be won, filled her with reluctance. Yet, she promised herself to embrace the day, reveling in the joy of family. Little did Ogechi know, her life was about to collide with a path untraveled. At the marriage ceremony, the air buzzed with laughter, drums stomping loud against the night. As Ogechi stood near the entrance, absorbing the festivities, her friend Adiz nudged her with enthusiasm. "Ogechi, look. The tall man in the dark brown agbada, who is he?" Adiz pointed. Ogechi followed her gaze, her heart abruptly halting. There stood Chinedu, a man radiating charisma with a presence that drew attention as effortlessly as gravity. His features were sculpted like an artist's canvas, and his laughter echoed a warm familiarity. "Ogechi. His family is one of the wealthiest in Enugu." Adiz gleamed, pushing Ogechi in his direction. As Chinedu approached, his deep-set eyes locked onto hers, igniting a spark of intrigue. "Hello, I am Chinedu," he introduced, his accent thick yet rich like the earth beneath their feet. Awash with sensations, Ogechi fought to stay grounded, her curiosity battling against the walls of her heart, which carried unresolved scars from her father's abandonment, a haunting silence that made her heart race with discomfort. Chinedu was persistent, showering her with gifts, beautiful Igbo-woven baskets and strands of coral beads, attempts to attract her attention that only made her retreat deeper into herself. The noise of laughter around her faded as she resisted the enchantment he seemed to exude. "My father. You remind me of him, the way you speak, your laughter. I won't fall for another man who carries the accent," she whispered to herself, ignoring the warmth his presence generated within her. But with each passing encounter, she sensed a flicker of something more. Chinedu was different, he was genuine. But the shadow of her past loomed large, clouding her judgment and forcing her to push him away. Time passed, and though Chinedu was surrounded by eager suitors, his heart remained focused on Ogechi. Conversations fluttered through the grapevine, and one evening, Chinedu cornered a mutual acquaintance of theirs, Ogbonna, seeking clarity. "What has that beautiful woman against me? Why does she ignore my gestures?" he asked, frustration etched across his face. Ogbonna chuckled softly, shaking his head. "Chinedu, she loves you more than you realize. It's her father, the way he left. She equates your pursuit with abandonment. You remind her of the pain she's hidden for too long." Sweat clung to Chinedu's brow as the pieces fell into place, the landscape of their interaction reshaped by this newfound knowledge. He realized that to win Ogechi's heart, he would need to confront her past, just as she needed to confront her fears. Taking a deep breath, Chinedu traveled to Ogechi's apartment the next day, determination coursing through him like a river bursting through its banks. Her door swung open with a hesitant creak. "Ogechi," he began, voice steady yet laced with concern, "I need to speak with you." The room dimmed slightly as if it too felt the weight of his words. "What is it, Chinedu?" Her voice was tentative, a sliver of vulnerability peeked through her armor. "I've learned why you've distanced yourself from me, and I want to start by saying that I'm deeply sorry for the pain your father caused you," he said. "But my intentions are pure. I am not him. I do not wish to leave you in darkness." Ogechi felt the floodgates begin to tremble. His empathy wrapped around her like a gentle embrace, suffocating the hardened walls she'd built. "You don't understand," she whispered. "But I do," he interrupted gently. "You are terrified of repeating that cycle. But Ogechi, every man is not like your father. I am here to prove my sincerity to you." Ogechi felt a tumult of emotions as tears welled in her eyes. Chinedu's brave confrontation of her heart's scars stirred something deep inside her. She began to recognize the strength that lay in vulnerability, the importance of breaking the chains that bound her to her past. "Chinedu, she faltered, choking on her words, but he reached for her hands, their warmth resonating throughout her. "Ogechi, I cannot erase the past, but I can promise you a future filled with fidelity and love." In an unexpected twist, they dissolved into a candid conversation, each sharing fragments of their lives woven with pain, hope, and dreams yet unfulfilled. With each word spoken, the walls crumbled. It was a risk, but love often resides in the edges of risk. Unable to resist the tide of emotions that surged between them, Ogechi daydreamed about the possibility of love. Yet, the chase was not without its trials. Her mother, with unwavering resolve, focused on the looming traditional marriage of her cousin, praying this would ignite her daughter's desire to marry. As the wedding day approached, the city buzzed with anticipation. The venue was transformed into a kaleidoscope of color. Decorations inspired by the rich heritage of their Igbo culture enveloped the scene like a painting alive with hues. Caught between familiar expectation and her budding love for Chinedu, Ogechi made her way through the swathes of people gathered. There, amidst traditional dances and feasting, she locked eyes with him across the crowd, a world away and yet impossibly close. Chinedu stepped closer, weaving his way through endless conversations, a protective instinct to reach Ogechi igniting within him. He could see the flicker of uncertainty dancing in her eyes, paralleled by her mother's critical gaze across the room. Amidst the chaotic vibrance, he anchored himself in her reality, enveloping her with reassurance in the midst of expectations. "Ogechi," he murmured, "you don't have to prove anything. I admire you, the strength you possess, the beauty that is alive in your spirit." Just then, the musical tones of the traditional Igbo flute swept through the air, intertwining with spices from the kitchen. Ogechi felt an unstoppable rhythm pulsate through her, resonating with the heartbeat of her people, her ancestors' legacies urging her to embrace her choices. Days turned into months, entwining Ogechi and Chinedu's hearts deeper into each other's lives. With every moment spent together, Ogechi learned to shed the heartache of her past, the bitterness relinquished by joy. They laughed, walked, and dreamed together. However, the path to love was inevitably steep. There remained obstacles yet to confront. As their relationship flourished, Ogechi discovered her mother still held tightly to her dream of a conventional marriage, one that drove a wedge between her desires and obligations. In a moment of bravery, adorned in a traditional outfit gifted by Chinedu, she approached her mother. "Mama, I have seen the light. There is more to marriage than just expectation. We are not living in an ancient time." Her mother's fierce demeanor faltered as waves of anger crashed against the rocks of Ogechi's defiance. But as Ogechi peeled away the layers of her vibrant heart, sharing her journey with Chinedu, their relationship began to reshape her mother's perspective. "I want love, Mama, true love." As the months rolled on, the sun shone brighter over Enugu, infusing the city with love and new beginnings. After endless conversations, Ogechi's mother, with hesitant acceptance, finally reached out a hand of truce, for it was not love that would take root but understanding and acceptance. With time, a wedding plan blossomed, adorned with every cultural tradition that spoke of love, strength, and unity. The vows were written under the watchful eyes of ancestors, binding Ogechi and Chinedu with the blessings of their lineage. In the heart of their city, love forged an unending road, where two souls danced, hand in hand, through the love saga tilted with their experiences, resentment, acceptance, and hope. As they stood before family and friends on their wedding day, the joyous celebration enveloped them. The sun dipped low, casting an ethereal glow, illuminating their journey. Ogechi glanced at Chinedu. In his eyes shone not just love for her, but the very light that countered the darkness of abandonment. "Mama, I am not running from my roots," she declared aloud, voice steady. "I embrace them. Love is deep-rooted in all that we are." With a structure now echoing their unity, Ogechi and Chinedu etched together an indelible mark of love, bending the blueprints of culture into something that surged forth like a river, forging ahead with every breath they took. And just like that, a girl who once danced with fear and denial had found her rhythm in the art of commitment, building a life rich in love, loyalty, and connection that would reverberate through generations. If you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and turn on the notification for more interesting story. Thank you.